Really want to get this car back together because it has been nice out here, and I'm the only one not driving around my nice car right now. It seems like see all sorts of really nice cars, everything from Japanese cars to American muscle to supercars, but my car is not one of them. So that's why I'm really trying to get this knocked out. Just about at the point now of where we're going to reinstall our transfer case back into the car. Before I do that, I want to go ahead and put the oil back in this, the limit slip differential oil. So I have the directions right here, which it tells you at the bottom here that you need to fill with high fluid gear oil, API classification GL-5 SAE90 until the level comes to the lower portion of the filler plug hole. Now, if you've ever been online and looked at the forums or talked in the Facebook pages or anything like that, these transfer cases apparently, one, are very sensitive to the oil that you put in, so everybody just recommends that you put the SAE90 from Mitsubishi. Just go to the dealership. It is about 10 bucks a quart. I think it actually may be a little bit more than 10 bucks a quart. I can't remember. But this transfer case is very sensitive to the oil, and when you're filling it, it can be deceiving that it is full or not. And I think it just takes just over half a quart. If you look right here, 0.63 quarts. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this plug off here. This is the filler plug, and I think some hoses or a funnel or something that we can use to put it in there. But we're gonna make sure that we get the exact amount that's supposed to be in there, because if you don't fill it up the whole way or you use the wrong oil, these things tend to have a tendency of burning up the ring and pinion gear. And I know that you guys don't want to have to pay for a ring and pinion gear. That means you'd probably either be going to the dealership and buying a new ring and pinion gear and doing it yourself, which I think the ring and pinion gears are about $1,000 for these, or you'd be sending it to Jack's Transmission, which is what I would do because I don't trust myself that in depth, especially in a transfer case as sensitive as these. I'd probably send it down to them and have them redo it, which I think for their basic rebuild is about $2,500. So you guys really want to pay attention to this and make sure that you're filling it up properly and making sure you're getting the right amount of oil in there. So let's go ahead and try that out. Your filler is a 17 millimeter wrench. I broke mine loose, it was pretty tight. You might want to break it loose before you take it out of the car. And it's just like any other filler plug, just take it off. So this is what I'm going to use to fill it. This tool right here may not be real well known in the automotive world, but this is actually what you use on outboards to put the oil back in the bottom. So on the bottom of an outboard, there's basically a gear set similar to what's inside the transfer case, and you got to change the oil on that, and it's actually high fluid gear oil, just like the stuff from Mitsubishi. So what you do is you screw this into the top of your container, and then it's just like a little pump, and we'll just pump it straight in. We'll put this in the hole, and then we'll start to pump until we get our 0.63 quart, or basically when it starts spilling out of here, we'll make sure that we actually pumped enough in there. So let's go ahead and give it a try. This is my first time doing one of these transfer cases, and I'm sure we'll run into some weird problem that I didn't foresee. So let's go ahead and try it out. So just keep in mind, I did push a little bit out into the drain pan just to make sure that we push the stuff from my boat through. I don't really want to cross-contaminate those chemicals. So here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna take our time and just kind of slowly push it in there. One thing you guys do want to make sure is that this thing is as level as you possibly can get it, which I may have to level it a little bit more with like some shims from some wood or something, but we'll see how this goes for right now. Just want to show you this real quick, guys. So like a 4x4 and a roll of electrical tape seems to get you about as level as possible. The transfer case itself has a little leg that sticks out under here that helps keep the front of it level, so you really just have to get the tail shaft level, and the 4x4 and electrical tape seems to work pretty good. One of the things I was reading online on the forums is these things will spit the oil out before they're actually full. That's why you want to really pay attention to how much you actually put in there. And I probably only pushed maybe, like half of an ounce into the oil pan to try to push out the old stuff. There wasn't really, it was just residue in there, guys, so we should be okay. I've let it sit for a couple minutes. I'm just gonna keep pumping it in here. We are getting to the point now where we should be pretty close to filled. One thing I want to remind you guys, you want to make sure that you keep the transfer case as level as possible after you fill this up, because the oil can actually leak out of where the axles come out of and the tail shaft. So until you get it installed in the car, you don't want to kind of set it on the side or flip it over or anything crazy like that, because it will leak your oil out. Then you'll be short on oil and you'll burn up your ring and pinion, and then you'll be sad. Almost halfway, guys. We have to be getting close. And mind you, you can do this inside the car. You don't have to take your transfer case out to do this. I just did it on the bench because it's easier to set the camera up and I can show you guys what we're looking at. What you can expect, I guess. Starting to drip out there again, so kind of let it taper off there. Kind of let the oil settle for a minute, and then we'll come back and hit it again. Alright guys, so I'll let it settle for just about 5 minutes. We'll go ahead and pump some more in there, and then we'll see where we're at. Closer it gets to fill, guys, the more you have to let it kind of settle in there. Make more room for you to put more fluid in. I'm not sure what these things look like on the inside, but I'd imagine there's probably little passageways or something that takes a little while for the oil to get in there to make room up here. So I think that's why these things can kind of fool you when you're filling them up. They'll make you feel like they're already full when they're not. So that's why you really want to pay attention to the level that you're putting in there. So if you look at the level now, this is probably roughly where it's going to be, but remember I did take a little bit out in the beginning. So I'm just going to keep pumping it in there until it literally stops, or until it literally will just drip out of here every time I pump it in. That way I know it's completely filled. Alright guys, I think that's just about it. When you start getting a steady stream like that, let it stop and then hit it again. And if it goes to a steady stream again, then you know you've filled your transfer case and you shouldn't have anything to worry about. So we're at the point now, guys, I'm fairly certain that it's filled up, so I'm just going to hit it one more time here. And if we get that steady stream out there, see how it's pretty much right away, it's starting to drip out of there. And it'll do a steady stream like that. Seems like every time I put a little bit in there, it's coming out of there now. So I'm going to go ahead and slap this drain plug in there real quick. And sure, it won't hurt to have a little bit extra inside this transfer case. And I'm going to look up what the spec is to torque that down. And then I'll let you know what the spec is on the drain, because I never torque my drains down. It's on my list of things to do, but I'll probably wait to torque the drain down until it's in the car, because I don't want to flip it over like I said. But I will let you guys know what the spec is for that in case you are doing it. You are changing the oil inside your car, so stand by. So the filler and the drain are both 23 foot-pounds plus or minus 2. So it's not going to take much at all. And it is good practice to replace the little rings. The book does tell you that the little seals should be replaced after every use, but mine rarely leak, so I'm going to go ahead and skip that step this time, but maybe down the road I'll get some more.